Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Wise Tech for Wise Money, the show where we explore the tools and strategies that help build lasting wealth and impact. I'm your host, Gary Wayne, founder of A1 Solutions International, where we help wealth managers, RIAs, and financial operators scale with precision growth systems, AI-powered client acquisition, and operational strategy. Today, I'm joined by Milo, co-founder and CEO of Relli, a platform with a bold mission to unlock real estate investing for everyone. Relli is building the stock market for real estate, making it possible for investors to access top quality real estate opportunities once reserved for institutions. We'll explore Relli's journey, its challenges, and the vision for democratizing wealth building through real estate. It's good to have you here.
Gary, great to be here.
Thanks for joining me. Perhaps you can introduce yourself and share a quick précis of your journey, your background, and how you got to be a Relli and setting up Relli, etc.
I'd be happy to. Relli is the stock market of real estate, as you astutely pointed out, and it's been quite a journey to get here. Startup land, if you're familiar, is a rocky roller coaster of pain and sorrow, but there's usually a light at the end of the tunnel that is worth fighting for, and that's definitely been the experience with Relli. I am a four-time founder, so this is my fourth startup. The first three also with my business partner that I'm currently in this business with. His name is Ross Relli. He's my COO and the other half of my brain. And without him, I couldn't build this business, so I'm super grateful to have him. And we learned a lot through our first three startups of picking the wrong partners, building product the wrong way, not talking to our customers, not understanding pricing models that are aligned with the industry that we were selling product to. We made many, many mistakes that were very costly, but in this business, me and Ross decided to take on the world together, and we said, you know what, it's me and you against the world. Let's come up with something that's worthwhile to drive for, and let's do it together. And we both had a similar experience investing in the stock market and in cryptocurrencies and having positive results, generating returns within a 3 to 5 year period that were significant, that really did a lot for our portfolios. And we knew that real estate was an investment asset that we wanted to have access to, but we both, in one way, shape, or form, weren't in a position to purchase real estate and manage it ourselves. From my perspective, I watched my parents build a small portfolio of real estate that created passive income for them. But I also watched them deal with tenants, and I watched them deal with maintenance, and I watched them deal with all the nasty headaches that come along with actually being a real estate investor, and I wanted none of it. I wanted none of that, period. And Ross came from a financial family. He comes from a line of financial advisors who have helped people invest their capital in the markets for many years, and nobody in his family had experience in real estate. So we both came to the table and said, okay, well, ideally, if we could invest in real estate, what would be the best scenario? And we discovered that for us, the best experience that we were looking for was the same experience that we had on Fidelity or E-Trade or Charles Schwab, where we could manage a passive portfolio in one place, be able to see all of our investments in real time, invest in smaller amounts in a fractional way, $100, $1,000, $10,000 at a time, and diversify our investments into different asset classes as well as different deal structures so that we could have a mixture of, dividend stocks and mutual funds and growth stocks and tech stocks. Just like we had diversity in the stock market, we wanted the ability to make our decisions accordingly in the real estate market with, a little bit of debt and a little bit of equity and a little bit of single-family homes and a little bit of multifamily and a little bit of self-storage and a little bit but we couldn't do that anywhere. It didn't exist. So we took on the journey of building it and creating it, and boy, has it been a big lift. But we are now at the first stage of our valuable product that we've created that is actually helping the market in the way that it currently exists. And that's by being a passive real estate investing marketplace where we advertise private funds that are available to high net worth individuals and institutions that normally were behind closed doors. You'd have to have a buddy that would introduce you to the operator, and then you'd invest directly with them. So now we're trying to bring all of these deals, and there's thousands of them, to the table in a consolidated way where an investor has the ability to view these deals, interact with the sponsors, and invest with confidence and with data from the comfort of their home without having to take 20 meetings a month to figure out what deals are good and what deals are bad. And from there, we are incredibly excited to build a foundation of amazing real estate sponsors across the country and then guide them towards the public markets where we can get the average consumer involved with as little as a $100 investment. And as we continue to grow our relationships with our real estate development firms by delivering them great value and finding accredited investors and slowly but surely guiding them to the public markets, we'll be able to create a similar experience to what you feel on Fidelity or E-Trade with a volume of deal flow and a large amount of sponsors with different types of assets and different asset classes that you can actively trade.
I think that's a fantastic idea and platform you've got. Are you, would you say you're a fund manager and a broker? Are you wearing two hats? You're doing a brokerage job and you're managing assets, etc.?
Great question. That's a great question. And Gary, what I'll tell you is what makes us unique is we're actually not an asset manager. We are a technology platform. We are a middleman to a certain extent. But from our perspective, we have two goals. Number one, our goal is to find great deals for our passive investors that we stamp our stamp of approval on and put on our platform and help our LPs find deals. On the other side of the table, our GPs are actively looking to grow their communities, and our job with them is to help them market their securities so that they can find new opportunities. So essentially, we operate to connect those two dots. We don't take any brokerage fees or commissions at this point in our business. Our end goal is to become a broker-dealer where we will be able to transact and manage the transactions on our platform, at which point we'll take a transactional fee as opposed to a performance fee, where most of our competitors are making their money is by charging the real estate development firms a fee for every dollar that they raise on their behalf, whereas in our case, we want to create an unbiased platform that's valuable to both parties, where the best deals win and LPs have the most access to deal flow across the country. So from that perspective, we don't touch an asset directly. We don't manage a fund directly. We don't manage your money. Our job is to find highly qualified sponsors, give them access to our platform, and then cater to our community of LP investors, specific group of great deals, and grow that deal flow as much as we possibly can with high quality sponsors.
Cool. I think you told me earlier on when we spoke once before that you lived in Israel, Texas, Colorado, New York, and now LA. How's that journey shaped you personally and professionally?
Oh, that's a great question. Growing up was kind of weird, man. I'll tell you. I was the weird kid that came to the United States as an immigrant, and every summer I wouldn't even spend time here. I'd go back to Israel and be ingrained in Israeli culture. So I was that weird kid that was bouncing from place to place, and especially because I bounced 4 times before I even made it to grade school, right? Even my preschool experience was a bounce around. And then I got into high school, and I jumped 3 high schools. So I was constantly being uprooted out of my comfortable place. I'd get comfortable for a year, 2 years, maybe, and then I'd get uprooted. And that was something that I had as a trend throughout my entire childhood. Not from the perspective of terrible. My dad got moved around. He was an immigrant. He came to this country. He had opportunity. He moved from region to region within Hewlett-Packard for years and years and years, and we had a wonderful life, and that's great. And all of the uprooting and shifting really made me have to make friends fast. And I think it's probably one of the biggest reasons why I'm a great salesperson.
It's
Um,
probably made you fearless.
Maybe not fearless.
Well, but being uprooted, and then uprooted takes you out of your comfort zone. So then you have to build your confidence to cope with those experiences.
Yeah, I would say that's probably a better definition. I'll tell you why. I feel like I've learned how to be courageous, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good explanation.
Right? Like it's one of those things where there's always going to be fear. Like even in the business that I'm in right now, we're in this fun game of trying to get cash flow to actually play out and to have our revenues supersede our expenses. We're building a technology company almost bootstrapped. It's incredibly hard and expensive. And I'm very grateful that I have a few great investors that have come to play ball. But we don't have ample capital. We don't have any wealthy uncles that we can fall back on. We don't have, so it's been a test of courage at every step of the way, and looking the fear in the face and saying, I know you, right? As opposed to, I don't acknowledge the fear, I'm fearless, which it's not true, because I'm terrified all the time, but I do it anyway. Right? And that's the differentiator. It's persistence, perseverance, and courage. But yeah, I think that definitely shaped my life, especially, another component of me having a gift of gab has been my parents were immigrants. Their first language is not English. So coming to this country, because I was young and I was very blessed that I was smart and could pick up language and was able to speak in English and Hebrew, I was usually the spokesperson of the table. When we'd go to restaurants, I was the one giving the orders for my parents and for my siblings. So it put me in a position where I, again, didn't have a choice. Small kid, 10 years old, making decisions for the family on behalf of what you're eating for dinner or what hotel are we going to book on this trip, because I was the one behind the computer screen taking the credit card and booking, right? So those are the things that required me to take on responsibility that maybe I was ready for, maybe I probably wasn't ready for, but to do it with the intention of courage and also knowing that there could be consequences if I fail. Because there were.
No, I can understand. I mean, I'm not first generation immigrant. My family came from Russia. My grandparents did. So, I understand about, moving about a little bit, having to do what you can. I didn't really have a formal education, so I had to teach myself because my parents couldn't afford to send me to school as such. So, I can understand with what it feels like to be where you are. Maybe not in the driving seat, but maybe in the passenger seat.
I appreciate that, Gary, and I'm sure your struggle was incredibly difficult with family coming from the old country. Like, I have family from Eastern Europe. I know what that's like too, right? It's a different culture. It's a different way of growing up. It's a different understanding of life because people have been through real tragedy, right? And that builds character, and that's special. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
You mentioned you and your partner Ross. He came from finance, but you came from selling cars. So,
Yeah, I
and you
did.
did 3 or 4 startups or 3 startups before this. But what made you go into finance and real estate from selling cars?
Yeah, it's a journey actually, and funny enough, I actually met Ross in the automotive world as well. We both were working for BMW in Thousand Oaks, California, and yeah, Ross came from a line of financial advisors. He went to school for finance, went the traditional route. I went the school of hard knocks, dropped out of community college, went into the automotive space, started as a car washer, moved my way up into the sales department, but had to move dealerships to do that. Went from Porsche to BMW and ended up being one of the best salespeople at under 25 in BMW corporate, which was pretty awesome. But me and Ross met each other there, And I got really fed up with the automotive space because I was making a lot of sales and making a lot of money for a dealership. And there was one month where we had a influx of BMW 7 Series, and these cars are each $100,000 plus. And I think I sold 7 of them in that month. And because the dealership had marked those vehicles a certain way in the advertising, there was no money in them. So they gave me $0 commissions on 7 cars worth well over $750,000 in sales within the term of a month. And that was pretty gross. I felt really nasty about that. So I stood up in a sales meeting, which, if you know anything about the car world, the sales meeting is sacred. The managers only talk, and the salespeople sit down, shut up, listen, and leave. And I decided to stand up in the meeting and say, hey guys, I'm 19, or I think I was maybe 21 at the time. I'm 21 years old, but everybody else in this room is an adult with a mortgage and kids. And you gave me 7 slips with $0 on them for $700,000 in sales. That doesn't make any sense. They then proceeded to rip me for the next 30 minutes in front of everybody, and not a single person stepped up and said anything to support me. And in that moment, I decided that I was leaving the automotive industry. So I stuck around for the rest of the year because that was the money time. At the end of the year, Q4 is the best time of the year for any car salesman to make money. And I left on January 2nd of 2018. And Ross called me 2 days later and said, Moore, I have an interesting thing I want you to be a part of. Let's go to Costco and have lunch. So we went to Costco. We had lunch. We had like chili and hot dogs. It was great. And he told me about the startup that he built, and he wrangled me in. And at the time, I didn't have the next step. So I was like, you know what? Let's go full force. And we made a lot of mistakes. We sold a bunch of cars. We sold like 30 cars through our online platform. We essentially built a car gurus for leasing, where we had basically a bunch of different cars that were real vehicles on real lots with real opportunities to buy those vehicles. And we would advertise them on a lease with 0 do-it signing. And not 0 plus, 0 do-it signing, real 0. And we sold like 30 cars, but we had no idea how to price this thing. We had never been in B2B sales. We didn't know how to get the dealerships on board. All the dealerships got free services, and then 3 months later, we're like, see ya. And we were just like, oh gosh, right? So we failed. But both of us realized, okay, we got something here. And what we had between us was a desire to go build something amazing. And unfortunately, Pedal didn't work out. But coming out of Pedal, me and him decided, okay, we got to do something different. So we decided to create a podcast where we read a book a week for 3 years in a row. And that was from a desire to match the energy of CEOs that read 50 books a year. We're like, okay, how can we do that? That seems ridiculous. How do you read 50 books a year? Well, if we have a podcast every Sunday and we show up on that podcast and we didn't read the book that week, we're going to feel pretty dumb, aren't we? So it was a good motivator to read the book every week, and we did it for 3 years straight. And through that process, we had built two other businesses, brought on some different business partners. The 2 businesses actually started to generate some revenue, but we realized that our business partner wasn't of an ethical principle. We said, you know what, dude, you take over this business. We'll see you later. And then we started Pedal. But in the meantime, Ross obviously had to pay his bills. I had to pay my bills. So while we were doing all of this moonlighting, we were working corporate jobs. And Ross went into the social media world, working for Snapchat, being an executive manager for ad campaigns for Realtor.com, Camping World, Saks Fifth Avenue, massive retailers running $1 million campaigns. And I ended up going into the financial world doing payment processing solutions, credit card solutions, pay card solutions to pay your employees on. And from there got recruited into a group called Insperity that is a public company that focuses on HR and payroll in the United States. But it's a little bit more than that. It's what's called PEO services. Basically, they become your right hand when it comes to anything having to do with your employees. They bring them under their business licenses, under their insurances. They manage all the employees. So I managed a few hundred employees working for this organization in a sales capacity. And all along the way, we just kept working together and kept learning and kept growing and understanding, like, What does it take to create a business? How do you sell businesses with a solution that's sticky that they need? How do you create that solution? And we evolved as business people, and through that process, we landed on Relli, started building, and at one point in time, we had an influx of signals that were saying, "Hey, you guys got to go full time," and we just both jumped ship and burned all the boats and said, "Let's go." So here we are.
Fantastic story. I mean, you boys have covered a lot in 10 years, a lot of experiences. I also heard that, or read that you have hosted 160 podcasts yourself.
That's exactly what I was talking about. So those are the books.
Those
Each
are
one
the
of
books.
each one of those, minus maybe one or two of them that were like a part one, part two,
All right, okay.
because
So
the
they're
book was more than
books.
10 hours. But each one of those, if you go and listen to them one by one, is me and Ross reviewing a book and talking about financial current times.
And did that get you a lot of CEO contacts?
To be honest, no. So okay, me and Ross, and mind you, now you see us on social posting and videos and da-da-does. We're not the biggest social media people from the perspective of we don't like to put our lives out there like that as much. So it's been kind of a struggle to get to a place where we were doing consistent content. And the only desire that we had to create this podcast was accountability. We didn't have any desire for anybody to listen to us. It was all for us to have accountability to ourselves to read the book every single week. And we got to a place where we probably had somewhere between 1,000 and 3,000 listeners per show, which was pretty cool. And we loved our fans. They weren't overwhelmingly engaging. They didn't come and talk to us or anything, which we would have really loved. But we didn't have a big enough audience for them to be engaged. But to be completely honest, the podcast served its purpose in 10x what we could have ever expected. And we had zero financial benefit from it, from the perspective of direct revenue or relationships. All the value came from reading a book a week, understanding that we could do it, number one. Number two, all of the incredible information that we learned. We read about a lot of stuff. We read about sales, we read about marketing, we read about emotional intelligence, we read about relationships, we read about everything. And we learned a lot. We learned a lot. And I'll tell you, I have so many things that I use from books that I read during that period of my life that I use every single day.
It's fantastic.
Every single day.
You talk about Relli as building the fidelity and E-Trade of real estate. What does an investor first approach mean in practice for your platform and users?
Well, and that's an interesting question. Our platform has been a lot more difficult to build credibility around than we originally anticipated. And looking back, it's kind of like a duh moment. Yeah, obviously, people are going to give you a boatload of cash. You probably want to create some credibility. What we didn't realize was that of the people that qualify for these investments, maybe 3% of them know about them. And education is not an easy thing to do when attention span is so minuscule. So in order for us to be able to educate, we have to get someone to like us enough to stick around for 35 to 45 seconds and watch a video, which is surprisingly difficult. And through the practice of now creating content consistently for the last 6 to 8 months and committing to having a video content media piece go out every single day, we've seen a massive change in the way that we create content, but also the way that people are engaging with us. And it's an art and a science, and it's something that you learn along the way, but you can't learn it without consistent repetition. So we're still figuring out what it takes for us to get all of our life experiences and our character traits to come through a digital format. It's very hard. Because, for example, me and you sitting here, for an hour, half an hour. We've had another hour before this, right? You've engaged with all of our content. You can probably sniff out that I'm very blunt. I'm I don't sugarcoat things. Ethics and integrity is incredibly important to me. That my interest is long-term vision and not short-term gain, right? Like, you can figure that out through sitting with me for an hour, but how does anybody in the middle of wherever America or anywhere in the world, for that matter, get the same experience without having to do this for an hour, right? And that's what we're attempting to create, such that we have curious people coming to the table. And we're slowly but surely starting to see that, right? Because curiosity is really what we need. We need the people to be curious enough to say, what is this? Because we know that if we bring them into our sphere and we show them all the amazing things that we've created for them, they're going to benefit, right? We just had a testimonial that went out for a gentleman that came to us, scheduled a meeting with our concierge, learned about deals on our platform, and then we just updated him on a deal that isn't even live yet, that's more lucrative than what anybody else is offering him in the market. And he would have never gotten that if he didn't come to us, but we had to create that somehow in a digital space. And we're getting better at it. So our focus is, how can we get who we are across the table in millisecond bites, and do that consistently enough for someone to be curious to come and connect with us directly. And I think if we continue to do that, and we continue to do what it is that we do every single day, which is talk to amazing sponsors, find the best possible real estate deals, put them on our platform and advertise them in an attractive way, then we're going to be delivering great value to anybody that's actively looking for investments in the real estate space. And it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, go on, sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, and my last thing was, it's just a matter of time. If we
I
continue,
think that's the pain point, isn't it? I mean, getting around enough people, in front of enough people, to show who you are, what you do. You know, with obviously, limited funds, creating, that profile so people know that you're the people to come to. You launched in April and already have paying customers. So you obviously are doing something right. How does the marketplace work today, apart from obviously what you're already doing? What additional things do you need to do in the marketplace to make it work for you?
yeah. So the way that it currently works is, real estate developers will come to us. They'll list their offering. We'll then superpower their offering with programmatic advertising that we run on social media platforms, and drive traffic and lead flow for those real estate sponsors to reach out to and close business with. That's one side of the business. The other side of the business is the limited partners. What do we deliver to them? Well, we deliver them a completely free service where we act as their concierge, deliver a white glove relationship that we can connect them with these real estate developers completely for free. There's no cost to them whatsoever. And we have lots of different tools that they can leverage in our online platform to be able to compare deals in the open market to the deals that we have on our platform and choose the best strategy for them. And right now, we're actually, Ross, my business partner, has spent probably the last month redesigning our dashboard to focus on building tools for LPs that help them with deals that they're currently looking at in the market. So between the scenario lab that we're currently building, which will allow a limited partner to bring a deal from the open market and compare it side by side with deals that are on our platform, and then chart the returns based off of the expected return from each one of those funds, so that that investor can actively look at deals on our platform, deals in the open market, and see which one would better fit them. In addition to that, we're also in process of building out essentially a clone of me. Should be interesting. We'll see how it goes. We've dealt with quite a few different AI vendors at this point, trying to find the best solution to be able to distill some baseline education into an AI tool that will be able to deliver value for someone in real time without the pressure of scheduling a meeting or talking to a real person. So we've been designing, we've now designed 3 different chatbots that previously have not been up to snuff, but this one that we have built out seems to be the right fit for us. So we're very excited to be able to launch that with our new dashboard here in the next month or so.
That's really interesting.
Thank you. So there's many things that we have that are currently in process. Like, for example, we have a program with UCLA right now where we're auditing our entire underwriting process and creating technology around abstracting data from offering memorandums such that we can improve our abilities to expedite people through the first layer of underwriting so that we can dig into the data in a more formal fashion effectively with our CFO and with our general counsel and with whomever becomes our next underwriter in our underwriting team. And we're constantly building. We're constantly trying to improve the product. We're always trying to talk to our customer to figure out what we can do better for them, because at the end of the day, it's all about them. It's not about what we want. It's about what they want, and about what we can create for them to keep them around and keep them engaged with us. So there's constant motion from that perspective of what technology we're trying to build and how we're trying to enhance what we're building here. I think it's really just a matter of, number one, being able to truly solidify the process of creating great accredited investor leads for our real estate developers that are our customers, right? Those are our paying customers, which we believe that we've created. We've done better than we think the entire rest of the market, from the perspective that the majority of our competitors in the platform space offer a listing service, and it's kind of a hope and a prayer. Hopefully you'll get some access. Hopefully someone will come around. If you're working with a broker, a capital broker, for example, you pay them a massive retainer, and then, you hope that they go out and they have a community that they can deliver you capital with. Whereas our goal is to create a product that you can turn on like a light bulb. And we've essentially created that, where we have the ability to bring in a real estate sponsor that's of a high quality and run a process that can generate 20 to 50 accredited investor leads for that customer every single month that are of a higher quality than they can create on their own for less than $3,000 a month. And that's a very attractive statement.
Can you tell me how you do that?
Sure. Look, it's not magic, it's marketing, right? And that's something that we also have to explain to our customers, is that if you're expecting to show up on our platform, give me $3,000 and raise $3 million, you are senile, because that's not how things work, right? And it's never worked like that. And when it does work like that, I'll let you know, and I'm going to charge you $300,000, okay? But until we get there, we'll figure it out. But in the interim, we have a great marketing solution. So what does that mean? If you're a qualified sponsor that has a track record of success in a particular asset class and has outgrown their community of investors, you are actively looking to build a solution that you can bring channels of leads into and turn them into brand new stranger customers that are willing to give you money. It's corporate sales. Okay? There's no sugarcoating it here. And the only way that you get great leads to turn into great investors is by running them through a great sales process. So what we do is the front end of that process. We deliver high quality leads so that you can take those leads, put them into your CRM that you've built out to do consistent outreach with multiple touch points over a short period of time. And then you work those leads and pick up the phone to those leads and properly educate those leads on who you are. And then you will see benefit and value, like some of our customers that are doubling and quadrupling their closing ratios. Okay? So for the sophisticated real estate development firm that has some sort of process where they can track how they are communicating with their new investors and how much they're closing, we deliver an excellent value. And the way that we do that is by taking our platform, creating a very attractive place for an LP to see these deals in real time, see the returns, see the length of the holding period, see who they're working with, connect with them on LinkedIn, schedule a meeting with them, reach out to them via email, give them a phone call, see all the overview documents, see the PPM, see all the documentation they need to know what this deal is all about. Then we take that we create a custom video for this group based off of their offering that tells the customer, these are the 3 things that you want to consider when looking at this offering. And we structure the video content in a way that there's a visual and auditory hook at the beginning to hold on to them for 20 or 30 seconds, so we have enough time to provide them with the information. And then we'll generate leads through through Meta or through LinkedIn. In this case right now, the majority of our effort is going into Meta, and I'll tell you why here in a moment. But we'll go out and send advertising through lead gen campaigns on Meta. Will require the lead to answer 3 questions. Are you accredited, which is worded in a very specific way. Do you have 200,000 in income, or do you have $1 million in assets, right? Because most people don't know what accredited means, so we got to tell them, okay? And then the second question is, can you invest the minimum? We'll use the dollar amount for that particular deal. And then, can you invest within 60 days? Then only after those 3 questions are answered, we'll run a 2-factor authentication on their phone number, and they can submit a lead, where then we will reach out to them and try to get them to schedule a meeting. And the sponsor will take that lead and put them into their CRM and actively work them consistently. But what happens is we put as many barriers as we possibly can in between us and the lead, such that only the highest quality leads come through the funnel. We focus on creating great content so that we actually get people to stick around for more than 10 seconds, because that's a huge problem when it comes to ad spend, and why probably most of our customers aren't getting the results that they want. So we focus on creating a structured video that delivers value. And then we take all of the data that we generate through that process of advertising, combine it with all the data that we generate from the traffic that comes in through our platform, and push it back to the advertising managers such that they're learning every single moment. And every lead that comes in, we have certain parameters that we are looking for that we tell the ad manager through pushing the data from one place to another that we want more of those kind of leads. And that improves the quality. And in our case, what we're looking for is a triple yes lead. Yes, I'm an accredited investor. Yes, I can invest the minimum. Yes, I can invest in 60 days. And we take that data for that person every time that we have a new lead that comes in, push it back through pixels, through all the different systems that are available to create higher quality ad spend. So it's not magic, it's marketing, right? But because we have this platform and we have this special funnel where our goal is much larger in long tail, we're not a marketing agency. That's not our goal in the world. It's not to be a marketing agency. It's to create a stock market for real estate. Because of that, we have the ability to funnel all that data and improve the quality of the ad spend. So immediately, if our customers are advertising on Meta already, we can usually double or triple their results with the same amount of spend.
How much have you managed to raise so far since you've been
We're honestly very light. We're very we're very light from the perspective of these are strangers. We launched in April. I personally have closed over $200,000 in capital for our customers. I shouldn't be doing that. Okay, it's not my job, but I've done it. I know that these people are real. I know that they're delivering capital, right? So this is part of the issue of being a startup. We need to figure out where our responsibilities end and our customers' responsibilities begin. So from the perspective of what are our customers seeing in results, we have customers that are sophisticated and have built systems that are seeing excellent results, where their closing ratios are doubling and quadrupling. We also have customers that have teams of boiler room salespeople to pick up the phone, and they have a 50% contact rate, and they've scheduled out of, I think, the 25 leads that they've gotten, they've already scheduled 6 meetings, and they started with us 30 days ago. Great results, amazing results. If you know marketing, you know those numbers are astronomical. On the other hand, we also have customers that are new to building out corporate sales structure, and not to fault of their own, came from an older generation of salespeople that had relationship-based sales where they knew that they could do certain mailers or they could do certain things to generate activity, and those things are no longer. Those things have died. They've gone by the wayside. We've gone into a digital world. So we also have many great operators that are trying to figure out how to build the right system. And we're able to deliver them great leads. So they have, and also because we see many different operators, we have the ability to give them feedback and we have the ability to make adjustments, which is pretty quite cool. So far, we've only had 2 customers leave us. And to be honest, most of those customers weren't with us long enough to get the value. So we're really excited because our customers are telling us that they're loving what we're doing and that they want more of it. And some of them are starting to ramp up their ad spend. And they're asking us for more leads. They want more with us. So we believe that we're doing an excellent service for these guys.
How many clients do you need to actually become fluid?
How many customers do we need to be in a like a profitable position?
Yeah.
To be honest, not too many. And I think right now our product is being sold way under its value. So with our current pricing model, I think our mid-tier is a $2,500 package. If we get, call it 10 customers paying us that $2,500 a month, we are a profitable business in our current state. Now, obviously, our goal is to grow. And we have big goals to grow. And we have a lot of expenses that will come alongside growing. So we're going to raise capital to be able to throw some speed behind our business to grow it faster. But we are very, very blessed from the perspective that we've found a gap in the market where we have services that we know that we can deliver out of the box. Even if we didn't have this platform, as salespeople and marketing people, we know that we can support these customers. So we've gone after these customers, provided them a service that's under market rates, and they're getting exponential value in comparison to what they're paying. So our perspective is, although we probably should have done a better job raising capital for our business because it's been an expensive endeavor to try to get technology off the ground, with the very limited funds that we've raised from angel investors, we've gotten to a place where we're now generating revenue and encroaching that tipping point of profitability, which is pretty incredible. So
That's very good, very good. As a startup, obviously it's very difficult. How do you quickly build credibility and trust to get to where you want? Because obviously, everybody doubts a startup.
First of all, if you find out, let me know. But what I'll say is this. I've been very blessed to have the ability to have sold a few $100,000 worth of business in the last, and more than a few hundred, but over $500,000 worth of business in the last 12 months. And that number is growing. We're now working bigger deals that are starting to look like more enterprise level deals that could potentially do $500,000 in a quarter. And what I'll say is this. The only reason I'm where I'm at is because I was overwhelmingly bluntly honest with my customers about exactly where our business was. I didn't sugarcoat it. I told them the good, the bad, the ugly. It was never me pitching them on, hey, you should do this because it's going to be awesome. It was always here. These are all of our problems. These are all of our positives. Here's where we're trying to go. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's what it's going to cost. Are you aligned with me in the thought process of creating this? Do you believe that this could be a good risk to take? And being really blunt about the fact that this is not an enterprise level business that has the ability to write you a check if it doesn't go your way. And I feel that blunt honesty and transparency earns respect. And when you respect someone, you have a higher likelihood of wanting to give them money to do business with them. And you also probably are going to trust them a little bit more. Because as opposed to telling them all the wonderful things that are happening, you're telling them all the garbage. You're saying, here, look, this is all the garbage. I'm sorry. I know. I get it. You want more, but I can't give you more. I'm building it so that you have it. But without going through the garbage, I'm never going to find the treasure. So if you want to be part of this journey, amazing. If it's not for you, that's okay. Like, we'll find somebody else that is, and when we do figure this out, I'm going to charge you more money, but at least you're going to be confident. And that is effective. What I'll also say is that people underestimate volume. And every single founder that I talk to, every founder, and I love talking to founders because most of them are technical and they're not corporate salespeople like I am. They always tell me that they're going to build it and they will come. And they always tell me that, oh no, I have these relationships. These people are bulletproof. They're never going to go away. I got it. I had a guy who was a good friend who wanted to build a data center. And he is seeing what's happening in the market. He's saying, oh my God, all this money is flowing to data centers. I'm going to go build one. I have the background. I have people that I can do this business with. And I looked at him like, have you done it before? No. By yourself? No. Why would someone give you $150 million? Why would they give it to you instead of the guy that has 30 years of experience? And the response was, no. We got these relationships. They're really excited about us. We have this perfect deal. It's da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, cool. How many people do you have? It's like, no. It's a lot. I'm like, how many people do you have that can write you a check for more than $1,000? How many people? And mind you want to raise $150 million. That's not chump change. You're going to need 5 people that can write you a $25 million check. How many of those people do you have? And the answer was 12. And my response was, dude, that's great. I'm so happy that you have 12 people that you have good relationships with. What happens when they all say no? Deer in headlights. Sure. And what I had to explain to him is, I'm like, look, dude, I've been raising capital for the last 3 years for this business, and I've been lucky to raise $171,000. I've been struggling to sell, but I still got 500K or so sold in either, raised capital or revenue or, delivering capital to our customers from an LP through our platform. It's hard, dude. $150 million is a lot of money. That's not a joke. You're about to spend 6 months twiddling, running around, building pro formas and doing whatever, but you have 12 people to talk to that can deliver capital. You need 1,000. And people don't get it. They're like, 1,000? What do I 1,000? How do I 1,000? It's a numbers game. You have to call 1,000 people. And if you don't have the intention of calling 1,000 people, you're not going to get it. And if you don't have the mindset of, I am looking for no's, you're going to have problems. And that's something that I think that most salespeople don't understand. The job is not to qualify. Everybody's qualified if you look at it from that lens. Oh, can they buy? Of course they can buy. They can give me money. They have money. They're qualified. No. Your job is to disqualify. Your job as a salesperson, especially if you're going after these big ticket enterprise level deals, big money, big capital raise, I need $1 million minimum check. Your job is to disqualify. On the first meeting, you should know if they're qualified or not qualified, and 99.9% are disqualified. If they didn't pay for lunch, disqualified. If they're looking at you and asking questions and they want an NDA before they look at the deal and they're probably disqualified. If they're not actively asking you buying questions, they're probably disqualified, and you should stop wasting your time. And the only way to figure out what that 1 of 100 qualified person is, because if you look at it, if the numbers are 1,000 leads and you need to get that 1% into your deal, that's 10 people that can give you $25 million. You're going to have to get through those leads fast. And the people that are ready to make a move on what you have to offer will tell you. They will tell you directly. And you're not going to open anybody's mind. A closed mind is closed. If you find someone that's opened, great. But that's not to say you just ignore all the other people, right? You put them into your outreach cadences, you nurture those relationships, and maybe something down the line will come along. But if you're looking to raise $150 million in 3 months, or your business goes sideways, or in my case, if you need to get $25,000 to $50,000 a month in revenue every single month, or your business goes sideways, focus on the volume, and be incredibly transparent. That's what's worked for us.
It's fantastic. If we look 3 years out, what would success for Relli look like in users, transactions, and impact?
First success would be a minimum of 100 customers. That's a barometer that I think that we can achieve in the next 24 months. And with 100 customers paying us between, call it $2,000 and $4,000 a month on a monthly recurring service fee, plus the odd large marketing campaign, we have a solid business that we can build from a foundation. So that's the first component. The second component will be purchasing a broker-dealer. If I can find a way to get my hands on a broker-dealer with a qualified operator, and mind you, there's quite a few different broker-dealers that are out in the market for gentlemen or ladies that are growing older in age that want to get out of the business and they want to sell their product, which is their business, their broker-dealer. But the issue that they run into is that their business was built around them. And there's no scalable, productizable solution there for someone to come in and buy. In my case, I happen to have that product that can be latched onto that broker-dealer, so I bring a lot of value to the table for them. So if I can purchase a broker-dealer alongside the owner-operator that built that broker-dealer for a transitional period of, let's say, 2 years, then my business with those 100 customers can now monetize every transaction that happens on our online platform. And I can have those conversions happening within Relli as opposed to anywhere else. And that is where I make real money. Because now I can charge between 3 and 5% for every dollar that's raised for a transactional fee because I created a streamlined solution for the sponsor that was no thought process. Money ended up in their bank account. And that's worth its weight in gold. And if I can look at that and say, okay, how do we scale this business with a fully inclusive solution that a average Joe like me can go into and invest $100, $1,000, $10,000 at a time, now I have a market that can compete with Coinbase, Robinhood, etc. And that's our goal. Now that's probably long tail. That's probably 7 years out. I'm thinking give or take 2032, trying to get something of IPO going with an active market. So within the next 3 years, the goal would be to have a strong foundation of great customers that love our product, that are receiving great value, and be in a position to purchase a broker-dealer where we can monetize all those transactions on the platform.
Fantastic. Before we wrap up, what's the one lesson you've learned from building Relli that you'd like to share with other founders starting out in a regulated industry?
Powerful. It's about perseverance, and nothing else matters. It truly is. It's people talk about talent, people talk about skill, people talk about intelligence, people talk about technical ability. You can have all those things, but if you can't push through, you're not going to do it. So my recommendation or my words of wisdom to other founders out there is go tackle your own demons and get really, really clear on who it is that you are and why it is that you're doing it. Because if your goal is to create capital to put in your pocket, you picked the wrong game. Because the first 10 years is pain. And you'll be lucky to make it to 2. If you make it to 2, you're a champion. But if you make it to 10, you'll make some money. But the first 10 is pain.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years is the crucial point.
So,
but it looks like you've got a solid base and you're on the way.
Thank you.
So, I'm sure you're going to get there.
Thank you, Gary.
For listeners who have listened in to this great podcast, I've learned a lot today and it's been fantastic having you here. Where can they get hold of you? Where can they learn more? If they want to invest or become a client, what's the process? How do they go about it?
I'm most active on LinkedIn. If you check me out on LinkedIn, More, M-O-R, last name Milo, M-I-L-O. I am very, very active there. So if you guys want to reach out there, that's a great place to reach me. But you're welcome to hit me up via email as well. It's my first name, M-O-R, at our URL, which is relli.co. relli.co, which is also the address for our platform. So feel free to email or check us out directly. You can create an account. We'll be in touch with you in hopes of creating a concierge meeting and walking through the platform, showing you all the deals. And then if you have any interest on any of the other social platforms, we are active everywhere. That's X, that's on TikTok, that's on Instagram, that's on Meta, and we are at Invest with Relli. So we're here to help. For the sponsors out there that are looking to raise capital, if you go to our website, there's a little button at the top that says Get Funding. It might be changing to the word pricing. You can press on that. It'll give you all the information on our deal and how it works, and you can schedule time with me directly. We'd be more than happy to show you how it all works.
It's fantastic, Maura. I really appreciate you coming on this podcast for us. In signing off, I'd just like to, I'm Gary Wayne, founder of A1 Solutions International. You can find me as well on LinkedIn or on via my website, www.a1solutionsinternational.com, and Gary at a1solutionsinternational.com. Thank you very much for listening, and we hope you'll listen again to our next podcast.